Hello everyone. The topic is what is formal languages and what is finite automata and what are the different types of finite automata. First, coming to the formal languages, there are four different types of languages are there. They are regular languages, context-free languages, context-sensitive, and type-0 languages. And the machines used for these four are finite automata, push-down automata, linear bounded automata, and the Turing machines. And the grammar rules which we used for all these four languages are these. For regular languages, the grammar rules are like this. It's capital A to small a or capital A to small a followed by capital. For context-free languages, it is in alpha to beta form such that alpha belongs to only non-terminal set and beta belongs to terminals and non-terminal sets where we can take beta 0 or more number of times. Context-sensitive languages grammar rules are like this. It's in alpha to beta form where you can take alpha and beta from a set of terminals and non-terminals 0 or more times. But the length of the alpha should be always less than or equal to the length of the beta string. For type 0 languages, there is no restriction for the grammar rules. We can form the productions in any manner. There are three representations of regular languages. One is statement form, another one is tabular form, and set builder form. In statement form, we use the English description of the language. In tabular form, we list out all the strings accepted by the language within the brackets. In set builder form, we have to we represent the regular expression form of the language accepted for the strings that we place it in the within the brackets. And regular languages are closed under these operations. What it means that whatever the operations we are discussing here, if you apply on any regular languages, then the result is also a regular language. So regular languages are closed under union, concatenation, closure, complement, intersection, transpose, difference, and homomorphism. So what is union means? If L and M are two regular languages, then L union M contains the set of strings all comes from A, L and M languages. And concatenation means if L and M are two languages, then L concatenated with M contains, we have to concatenate all the strings of L with all the strings of M. So that is the resultant language of LM. There are two types of closures. One is star closure, another one is clean closure. In star closure means its notation is sigma star. For clean closure, the notation is sigma plus. Here sigma star means that 0 or more number of times. So sigma star is equal to we have to take the union of strings formed with 0 alphabets and strings formed with 1 alphabet. We have to take the strings formed with 2 alphabets and so on and so on. So means sigma star contains all the set or all the length of the strings which we can form from the sigma, where sigma is the input alphabet set. For example, here if you take L equal to 0, 1, 1. So language contains 0, 1, 1. Then L star is equal to L power 0 union, L power 1 union, L power L square union and so on and like that. Next, complement. Complement of any regular language is also a regular language. For example, if S is a regular language, then the complement of S is sigma star minus S. That means we have to subtract the S from the universal set. Here universal set is the clean closure set. Next, intersection of two languages means we have to take the common strings which we have from the both the languages. Intersection of two languages is represented by L intersection M. Transpose of any regular language is equal to, we have to reverse the strings of the language. If S is the language, then S power R means transpose of S equal to just reverse the strings in the given language. Difference of two languages L and M is represented by L minus M. Here we have to take L minus M is equal to take the strings which are exist in the language L but not in M. Homomorphism of regular languages means homomorphism is a function. We have to apply this homomorphic function on the given language such that the resultant language is the homomorphism of the given language. For example, here h of 0 is equal to ABB, h of 1 equal to BA. In the given language is 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 0, 1, 1. Homomorphism of language L equal to, just apply these two functions, homomorphic functions. Those are wherever you have 0 in the given language, place ABB. Wherever we have 1 in the given language, place BA. So that the resultant strings comes into the homomorphism of the given language. These are the different operations which we can perform on regular languages. Next, coming to the finite automata and the model of the finite automata, the model contains an input tape and a finite control and a read-only head. So this is a finite tape. Here they have one head. This is read-only head. That means we can only read the input variables on the tape. We can't write something on the input tape in the finite automata model. And this read-only head movement is also in one direction, that is from left to right. And this finite control is a transaction function. So by using this transaction function, we move this head from left to right so that we check whether the string is accepted by the given language or not. And here the limitations of finite automata are the memory here in finite automata model is finite. There is no infinite memory. And the head movement also restricted in one direction, that is from left to right. And one more restriction in finite automata is we can't write anything on the input tape. So those are the limitations, so that very few languages are accepted by this finite automata. And the notation used for finite automata is, it's a 5-tuple form which contains Q, sigma, delta, Q naught F, where Q is the set of states and sigma is the set of input alphabets, and delta is the transaction function and Q naught is the initial state and F is the final state. So in the diagram, initial state is represented by within the circle state name and the arrow is added into the circle. And the final state is represented by double circle. And there is a transaction. For transaction, we use an arrow mark from one state to another state. And this arrow mark is labeled by the input symbol. And we have transaction table to show the transactions in the finite automata model, where column wise we took the states and row wise we took the input symbols. So from which state to on what input symbol it is going to another states, that is stored in the transition table. How to check the acceptance of the string is, here we have to take some string and let's start from the starting state and read one by one symbol in the input string and go in the arrow direction such that after reading the given input string you should be at a final state, then only the string is accepted by the given finite automata. There are two types of finite automata. One is deterministic finite automata, other one is non-deterministic finite automata. In deterministic finite automata, transaction function states that it is from some state on input symbol to only a single state. That means from one state on single input symbol, it is going to only one state. So in NFA, from some state on input symbol, it is going to multiple states. That's why here 2 power q. And epsilon is also we use as the input symbol in the NFA. So which is not used in the DFA. For example, here in this diagram from Q0 on A, it is going to Q0 and also going to Q1 also. That's why it is a NFA. There are other type of finite automata also there, that is finite automata with output capability. There are two types of such type of automatas. One is Moore machine and the Mealy machine. This Moore and Mealy machine has the output capability. They can produce the output. In Moore machine, the definition is represented by 6 tuple form. 6 tuples are Q, sigma, delta, capital delta, lambda and q naught, where q is set of states, sigma is set of input alphabets, capital delta is the output alphabets, and delta is small delta is the transaction function, and lambda is the output function. As it has the output capability, this lambda is the output function which is from state to the output, and q naught is the initial state. Example of Moore machine is this one. Here in the Moore machine, output is attached with the state. Here Q0 state output is 1 and Q1 state output is 1. Q2 state output is 0. In Moore machine, how to check how it generates the output is, here this is the input string, that is 0, 1, 1, 0. Here also we always start from the initial state Q0. So Q0, as wherever we have the state, as here in the Moore machine, output is attached with the state. So whenever you reach to that state generates the output symbol. Here initially we start with Q0, so Q0 output is 1. So from Q0 on 0 going to Q1, Q1 output is 1, and next read the next input symbol, that is 1, means from Q1 on 1 going to again Q1, output of Q1 state is 1, from Q1 on next input symbol 1 going to Q1, and Q1 generates the output 1, and so on like that. So means output string for 0, 1, 1, 0 is 1, 1, 1, 1, 0. Observe here, the length of the input string is 1 less than the output string. Means if length of the input string is n, then the output string length is equal to n plus 1 in the Moore machine. And in the Mealy machine, output is not attached with the state. Output is attached with the transaction function. Here in this transition symbol, that means arrow mark, left side one is input symbol and right side one. After slash, right side one is the output symbol. So, but here in the Mealy machine, length of the input string, output string is same.